if you're an engineer and you're just kind of like overwhelmed and you're like, there's so much AI and everybody keeps talking about it and I hate AI. If you remember back like maybe a year ago, for people who have been watching this channel for a while, I talked a lot about ChatGPT and how it was pretty important for helping you level up. And now, like, after speaking to a lot of people for the coffee chats and having the meetups that we've been doing, I feel like that's even more important. Hey everyone, it's Vijay. Happy Friday. I hope you all are doing pretty well. I get it, right? Like, there's a lot of frustration into like what you need to pay attention to. And I'm the first one who will tell you, hey, don't pay attention to everything else. Like, just focus in on one thing. Like make sure that you're rock solid first in like foundational stuff and then go to the next thing. So I'll always advocate for that. But at the same time, I think like, going back to the point of AI and all the stuff that is happening at the moment, I would say if you haven't taken the time to learn about it, start learning about it, because it is going to help you like really multiply what you're capable of. It's a force multiplier. And so you might be thinking the next question is like, how do I get involved in AI? Like, what am I supposed to do? So we have a lot of tools out there. The simplest way to get started is really start with what everybody talks about, which is ChatGPT. The way I started was probably like thinking more like the traditional approach where I would use it like a Google search engine and I would just ask questions. With AI, it's very much similar, but you can write like more details. You can just like say, hey, I have like a really burning question. You could write almost like as if you were talking to a human. I would literally like ask ChatGPT that question and say, I am, such and such a developer and this is my resume. You can even upload your resume and you can say, here are all the skills I have. Here's my LinkedIn profile. What do you think about me? What are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? So you do that and ChatGPT will quickly analyze you and give you back like a good reply. And then it'll give you like a strength and a weakness. And now what's cool about it is that you can put this stuff into memory with ChatGPT. And so ChatGPT will remember like, oh, you talked about your strengths and weaknesses. You talked about your resume. And, like we had this conversation ultimately about like where you are right now. So then you put in your goals and you say, where should I be like, a year from now? But obviously like the best way to use the AI tool is to like feed it more information about yourself. So you can say like, well, I imagine myself being like a top-notch engineer, working at, some real reputable company. So analyze, what it's like to work there versus what I have to bring to the table. And then you might get back like a lot of feedback. And, like if it sounds too friendly, because that's kind of like something that ChatGPT, is known for its friendly thing, you can kind of filter it and you can say, be a little bit more brutal, right? Like this is just like something I do. And so it'll come back in a more brutal way and tell you like, this is what you need to know. And the reason I advocate for brutal is because like if you're too friendly with yourself, then you may miss things, right? But if you're a little bit more brutal and you hear like brutally honest truth, then you go, oh, like that is something I actually need to pay attention to. For example, for me, right? Like when people look at my LinkedIn or they looked at my resume, they always see a lot of like front end focused stuff. So they'll always kind of consider that I look like a front end developer rather than a full stack developer, which is not true. I am definitely a full stack developer. But the brutally honest truth is I don't have enough stuff pointing to that I can do full stack. And so my job is to point that I can do a lot of stuff full stack. Now this is based on stuff that I wrote about myself 4 or 5 years ago, because I made the mistake, well, I still do, of not updating my resume or keeping it current publicly. Like I just don't have the time to do it. I'm always working and like working on my job and then working on HackBuddy and then like taking care of my family and all of that stuff. So, like when I have periods to myself where I can focus and dial in, like right now, that's where I'll say, all right, let's update the resume a little bit better and like make it so it looks stronger. Coming back to like everything I've been talking about so far, AI, I think AI is really, really important, and it's only going to get more important. It's a force multiplier, like I've been saying, and that's going to keep you like feeling good in this economy. I know that there's so much going on right now, And like when you look at the news, you just see like a lot of bad news. And to be quite honest with you all, I don't know like if people know this, but I like saying it anyway. But you have to remember that bad news is always like going to rise to the top. It is something that spreads, it's viral. People are always going to be paying attention to that. It always gets amplified via the social media algorithms. We all know that. But I think like that's the thing, like a lot of people know it, but they don't like apply it, right? Like they're just kind of like in it. And even I fall into that trap a little bit too. So you can ask AI to help you get out of those traps, right? Like, so another thing you can do is you can use it as like a personal counselor or a therapist, and you can say, I have all these bad habits. Sometimes I'll spend my morning just like reading Reddit, or I'll just like scroll through TikTok or Instagram, and I'll just be sitting there and looking at it. And these apps are just designed to keep you like trapped, like looking at the next thing. We call it doom scrolling or brain rot or whatever you might call it. But if you start yourself off on that path, then like by the time it's time for work, your mind is already like screwed from just doing that. And you could have used that time instead to just have like a healthy reading session, or a healthy like coding session, or a healthy like warm-up session too, because you may not just need that, you just might need a warm-up. Sometimes it takes me a lot of time to get into a working mood, and I was like, this is such a bad habit because it prevents me from like doing anything else. So I replaced that time with like just going to the gym first, and like asking AI to help me with the gym routine, so that every morning I can literally like start my day off on the right mood. That's my point, right? Like if you're not using AI yet, like try to use it to help you like improve like your life, help you identify the bad parts about who you are, and then get rid of those bad habits. Like the reason I'm advocating for it is that like eventually it's going to help you become a better person, the person you really do want to be. If there are AI apps that you're using, I want to know about them. If there are tools that you like, I want to know about them. As far as community, like share the knowledge, put them here in the comments. And I want to deep dive into a lot of different tools. So maybe we can talk about like some of the other stuff that's come out recently, like Grok is just as good as ChatGPT. I feel like it's very good and it's connected to Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X. And you can find out a lot about social media discussions and things that are relevant, especially for software. Then you have like coding tools like Cursor, and you have coding tools like you have Claude, and just all these other new tools that are coming out. So I again like want to hear from you, like the audience too, like what are you using, and we can kind of go through like these sessions of like how these things improve you overall. So ultimately what I want to say too at the end here too, because I want to keep this video like short and relevant, is that like a lot of stuff is changing, a lot of stuff is coming out, and I just want to know like how are you using it, and what life changes are you making, and how are you like building better for yourself, and then ultimately too like what are you interested in doing a year out from now. I'm curious. I gave you my path, and hopefully you see more of that over time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or coffee chat or meetup.